Hi, good afternoon, students. This is Mrs. Staymeyer, and today I'm here to make a video for you for our students who are on distance learning so that you have a guide in helping you to create what we call our complementary color blends. This last week, I had you go ahead and make a color wheel in colored pencil using only the three primaries of red, yellow, and blue, as well as black in order to create the shadow color, the shade colors in your color wheel center. Our white is operating as the paper showing through on our tint section. Pure hue and shade colors are there with a little bit of black added. Today we're doing something a little bit different though. It's called complementary color blends. We use these for shadows. A lot of young students are of the idea that we add black to a color in order to create a shadow color. So you're painting a picture of a red apple and they would add black to their red in order to create the shadow color. That is actually not 100% correct. What would be ideal is for you to add the colors complement. So hopefully you've created your color wheel so that you can use it as a reference for finding your complementary colors. But essentially, complementary colors are colors opposites. They are directly opposite each other on the color wheel, and they make each other stand out. That's why they're called complementary colors. And so you'll see that every primary, red, yellow, and blue, all have a secondary complement. The color that's directly across from them, green, violet, and orange, are secondary colors. And so today we're going to do a little experiment in looking at how those colors start to change when we mix them with their complement, so that, if you have that picture of the red apple and you want to create that shadow color, then you would add green to the red in order to darken it and create that brownish type tone. So today I just have a regular piece of white paper. I do have my full spectrum of colors. So you're welcome to get those out. I know that the color wheel was created with just your red, yellow, and blue. But for this activity, I think it will be beneficial for you to use all 6 pencils. So our red is going to have a primary of green. And our yellow is going to, our red is going to have a complementary of green, and our yellow is going to have a complementary of violet, and our blue has a complementary color of orange. All right, so let's get started. So what I want to do is grab my ruler and a sharpened pencil. And to get started, we need to make a little chart for our complementary color blends. So whatever ruler you have, it's fine as long as it's in inches. Most rulers are around 1 inch to 1.25 inches of thickness. If yours is a little bit wider than that and you would like to just make 1-inch blocks for this, you may. But what I had students do in class was just to take their ruler and trace around the thickness of the ruler like a stencil, and you're going to do that all the way to the end or to 0 and also to 8 inches. Each of our 8-inch bars here are going to be divided into 1/2-inch segments. So that's going to equal a total of 16 1/2-inch sections when we are finished. Tracing just around the ruler here, 8 inches total. Right there, 8 inches. And then I can lift my ruler and just block it off there. It's okay if it's not perfect on this end. You can touch it up if you feel so inclined. All right, so as I said before, we're going to be marking this every 1/2 inch. So in order to make sure our grid is completely straight, we're always going to measure and mark at the top and the bottom, 2 opposing ends. So when we connect them, we know that it's straight. Now across the top here, I'm going to mark every 1/2 inch and inch. 1/2 inch, inch, 1/2 inch, inch. Remember to observe where you're supposed to mark before you just start marking. Usually on these rulers, your full inch mark is going to be found just after the number. You can make a dot, you can make a dash, whatever feels most comfortable to you. I'm in the habit of making a dash, obviously. So after you have it marked at both the top and the bottom of your 3 bars, you can go ahead and connect them. You don't need to be heavy-handed with this. Light-handed is probably better so that you don't have all of the graphite of your pencil blending into your colored pencil when you start working. I don't want to draw too light on my video for you here because I'm afraid you won't be able to see it. So it's absolutely fine if yours is lighter than this. You can use a mechanical or a regular pencil or whatever you have. There we have it. So as again, I said, this is for complementary color blends. Over here on the left-hand side, we're going to put our primaries, red, yellow, and blue. And again, when we look at our color wheel to find your complementary colors are directly across from your colors on the color wheel. So red has green, yellow has violet, and blue has orange. Green, violet, and orange, right like that. Okay, so I'm just going to do one section on the video for you, and then I'll post a photo in your Google Classroom of the final product so that you can follow along with it and try to make yours look somewhat like mine. They will all look a little bit different, primarily because whatever color pencils you have, the colors for your primary and secondaries may be a little bit different than what I have. And so every factory product is going to create a slightly different result. All right, so the idea of our complementary color blends is basically that you're going to slowly be adding a little bit of the color's complement as you move towards the middle. So this side is going to be pure bright red. And your hand may get a little bit tired in producing these. That's okay, it's just building strength of your hand. This side is going to be pure red. And this side is going to be pure green. As bold and true as I can make it here for you. So the idea then is that as we move from this scale towards the other side, it's going to get less and less red and more green. So bar number 2 is going to be pure red with 1 drop of green. Think of this as pure red with 2 drops of green, pure red with 3 drops of green, until we have on our final no drops of red over here. And then think of it going the same the other way. This is going to be 1 drop of red, 2 drops of red, 3 drops of red. I know that we're not working with drops here, so the idea then is that these are going to cross over with each other. What I'm going to do to get it started then is that I want a value scale of red going from one side to the other. This is going to be the very lightest red that I can go. And then this is going to be a little bit darker and a little bit darker. Reflect back to the value scale that we did in graphite when we studied our value scale and shading the basic forms in pencil. What you want here is a value scale of red overlapping a value scale of green. So I should be checking to see that as I'm moving towards my full red side, that I have a scale that does not bounce back and forth. It does not go suddenly lighter than the one before it. So we've got to get darker and darker and darker until it is pure red. It's always easier to layer heavier than to take it off. You can slightly erase colored pencil, but it is a challenge. And you'll certainly blow through your eraser pretty fast doing that. So I'm trying to make this a steady stream down to very, very light red. I'm repeating that same process here with my green. So I'm going to go very dark, lighter, lighter, lighter until here on this bar, I have just the very lightest amount of green added. More green, and more green, heavier pressure, as we commence down the row towards quite heavy pressure. Well, you may not see it immediately, but you do know that the red is in there. We put it on there and you can't take it off by coloring over it. So if you produced the proper pressure on the right bar, you will in fact have an accurate scale. Now you may need to go back and even it out a little bit because we do have less pressure here in the middle. We are showing more of the white paper through. So essentially we're kind of getting a complementary color blend tint in the center. But I am lightening up on my hand as I move towards the opposing side. And there you have one segment of your complementary color blends in colored pencil. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video. I will finish this section for you, blending yellow to violet and blue into orange. And I'll take a picture of that and I'll post it in your Google Classroom assignment. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing your work, guys.